Hi, this is Usha. Today is September 5th, 2022. So I welcome you all to today's Hindu news analysis. And welcome to Rathod's IS Academy. So now let us try to see the today's quote. So actually today is September 5th, right? So here this September 5th is celebrated as Teachers' Day. So this September 5th and this Hindu analysis which gave me an opportunity to recall my teachers. So thank you for guiding us in every chapter of life. So today I am in this position, I am taking this class because of the efforts which were taken by my teachers from my childhood. Okay, especially I want to thank them on this day. Okay, I wish you a very happy Teachers' Day for all of you. And now let us try to see first topic. This article which is talking about India-Bangladesh ties. And one important thing that you have to keep in your mind is, so whenever if any article which is coming in our editorial means, yes, there is something which is happening in the news. So why this India-Bangladesh ties is in news? So actually Prime Minister of this Bangladesh, that is Sheikh Hasina, she is going to visit India, okay, today. So because of this India-Bangladesh news ties in this news. So if we are talking about in this meet, what were the key highlights? For example, they are going to talk about defense ties, they are going to talk about connectivity, and they are also going to talk about people-to-people contact. And one important issue here is Rohingyas. So regarding this Rohingyas, also she gave one statement yesterday. Okay, and many news channels highlighted about that statement, and she said that India is a neighbor, and India is also a vast country, so that India can help this Rohingyas to accommodate, because Bangladesh is a very small country and there are about 1.1 million people, they are staying in this Bangladesh in camps. Okay, so regarding this, yes, Sheikh Hasina, which is she is also seeking some help from India. Okay, so apart from that, they are also going to talk about river water sharing issue as well. So these were some key highlights. Okay, so once this visit is happened, and we are going to get number of articles regarding this India-Bangladesh ties. So we are going to discuss them in the future classes. So what are the memorandum of understanding, what are the agreements they came up in this India and Bangladesh ties. Okay, so this will be very important from your upcoming mains. Actually this topic is important from your mains point of view, and from prelims you can expect some questions, especially like, so which are the states of India which are sharing boundary with this Bangladesh, and which are the rivers which are passing between this India and Bangladesh. So from this area, especially from the map based questions that you can expect in your prelims. So this topic is important from your international relations, which comes under your GS paper 2, and this international relations which is subject in your mains. So now let us try to understand some important key areas of cooperation between India and Bangladesh. So we are talking about why it is in news. So here Miss Sheikh Hasina visit to India, that is from September 5th to September 8th, 2022. So because of this is the news. I already told you about what are the key highlights of this visit. Okay, I hope it is clear. So now let us try to see some important areas of cooperation between India and Bangladesh. Yes, as an UPSC aspirant, yes, you need to know what are the important areas of cooperation between India and Bangladesh, because there might be a high chance of getting 10 marker question or 15 marker question from this area. So now let us try to see first important area, that is trade and connectivity. So if you are talking about relation between any two countries, yes, you have to know about trade. So trade will be there compulsorily, because country, if you're taking a country which is not self-sufficient, because it cannot get all the resources that it needs. So because of this, yes, it have to depend upon another country for the resources. So for that, here we need to talk about exports and imports. Okay, that will come under the trade. So if you're talking about between India and Bangladesh, so we have joint consultative commission. Okay, and in this context, these two countries, that is India and Bangladesh, they are neighbors and they expanded their partnership. For example, even in some areas like artificial intelligence, even some areas like fintech companies, cyber security, startups and connectivity. So in all these areas, yes, these two neighbors, they are expanding their cooperation. And if you're talking about trade, it is one of the important focal point, as I said. And here in the Sheikh Hasina visit to India, which also gear up to sign this SEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. So whenever we are coming up with this Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, yes, there might be increasing chances of increasing of our trade. And two prime ministers, that is from Indian side and this Bangladesh side, so they are also expected to inaugurate a joint venture power plant also. So this SEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, at the time when Bangladesh is set to lose the duty-free and quota-free market access facility to India after 2006, when it graduates to a developing country. So actually what happens, so we are going to come up with this Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Okay, so in this way that will be very much helpful to increase trade between India and Bangladesh. So as you all know that if you're talking about the trading partners with India, so Bangladesh, it is the 6th largest trading partner. Okay, so Bangladesh, it is the 6th largest trading partner. And if you're talking about bilateral trade, that is a trade between India and Bangladesh, which mainly increased from $2.4 billion in 2009 to here 10.8 billion in this 2021. So we can say there is a drastic increasing of the trade between India and Bangladesh. And if you're talking about Bangladesh imports, that is India's exports, so in Bangladesh mainly importing critical industrial raw material. Okay, so whenever they are importing raw material from India, and that raw material can be used in the manufacturing sector, and they will be making or manufacturing the goods and services, and they will become the exports of Bangladesh. So according to the reports of World Bank, it says that Bangladesh exports could rise 182% under this free trade agreement. Okay, so whenever we came up with this free trade agreement with India, okay, and Bangladesh, so that led to increasing of imports of industrial raw material from India, and that led to increasing of Bangladesh exports by 182%. And India and Bangladesh, they have implemented several projects, especially for example that will boost Eastern Indian Bangladesh connectivity. So if we're talking about location of this Bangladesh, I will be showing you the map. So if you see this map here, so here we have this part is Bangladesh, and this part it is our northeastern India, and this part is Eastern India. So because of this, whenever we are having this proper connectivity with this Bangladesh, yes, it will be helpful for proper connectivity with this Eastern India and as well as this Northeastern India. So because of this is very important. And if you're talking about connectivity, so we have road projects, we have rail projects, okay, we have transit corridors between India, Bangladesh and as well as Nepal. And if you're talking about important ports, for example, we have Chittagong port, Mongla port. So those are very important for connecting this mainland India with this northeastern India. Okay, so not only this, we are also having some railway projects. For example, 3 express trains and international bus services, they are being operating between India and Bangladesh. So in this way, if you are talking about connectivity and trade, yes, we have good connectivity and trade between India and Bangladesh. And if you're talking about some issues between this India and Bangladesh ties, so first and the foremost issue here is river water sharing issue, that is river Teesta. Okay, so the sharing of this water, that is a Teesta, which remained a thorny issue, which is one of the important issue between the two countries since 1947. Here West Bengal government will be not accepting for the sharing of the water, that is Teesta or river water, with this Bangladesh. So this is one important problem. Okay, so for West Bengal, here Teesta, it is important to sustain impoverished farming districts. Okay, and it will be helpful for providing livelihood for 12.77% of population of West Bengal. And if there is a water sharing with Bangladesh, so that will be helpful for 14% of the crop that will comes under cultivation in Bangladesh, and even 7.3% of population of Bangladesh, they will be getting livelihood opportunities. So because of this, whenever there is India-Bangladesh ties, so they will be talking about this river water issue, that is Teesta river issue. So now let us try to look at the map here. So I already added a map here so that you will be having some idea like, so where exactly this Teesta river is located. So if you see here, so here we have this part is our Bangladesh, correct, and here this river which is Teesta river. Okay, this is the Teesta river. So I want to give you one homework. So where this Teesta River originated? So let me know in the comment box. So please try to do some research. So I am doing research still from morning 4 o'clock onwards, mainly to come up with this class. So why can't you do at least 10 minutes of research after listening to this class? Okay, so please get motivated and please try to do the homework whatever I am giving. So that will be ultimately helpful for you students, not for me. Okay, and if you move forward, one more important issue that was present between India and Bangladesh, it was regarding land swap agreement. So actually, if you see in this Bangladesh, there were about 111 enclaves, which are mainly Indian-based enclaves that are present in Bangladesh, and in India there were about 51 enclaves that are present in India. So recently, 2015, we came up with this land swap agreement, and here we came up with the resolution of this decades-old land border dispute between India and Bangladesh, that is through this land swap agreement. So we came with exchange of this 111 enclaves in Bangladesh with this 51 enclaves of Bangladesh in our India. Okay, and if you're talking about one more thing here, recently our Union Home Minister, he reviewed the security agreements in this Assam, Meghalaya, Bangladesh tri-junction. Okay, because if you're talking about this Assam, Meghalaya and Bangladesh tri-junction, so here in this area, so this is one of the important route for the smugglers, for example smuggling of drugs, smuggling of arms, etc. Okay, so here recently our Home Minister also reviewed this security agreement or security arrangements between this Assam, Meghalaya and as well as Bangladesh border. And in 2019, so India enacted this National Register, that is NRC, and also we came up with this Citizenship Amendment Act. So because of this thing, so that led to uproar within and as well as beyond the borders of between India and Bangladesh. So this is also one important issue here. And one more issue here is Rohingyas. So we have to see and we have to wait and watch until what are the decision that is going to take in by India and Bangladesh regarding this Rohingyas. Okay, so this Rohingyas is one of the important area they are going to discuss in this meet. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail, and please try to see the map and try to locate which are the states of India which are sharing boundary with Bangladesh, and let me know in the comment box. And now let us try to see next topic. So this article, which is mainly talking about especially Taiwan Strait crisis. So as you all know that, so there is increasing of tensions between China and Taiwan that is seen in this Taiwan Strait. So what is the meaning of strait? Strait, it is a narrow passage of water that is connecting two water bodies. So if you're talking about this Taiwan Strait, which is connecting this East China Sea with this South China Sea. Okay, so this is the one prelims fact that you have to know. And here we have Taiwan and here we have mainland China. So as I hope you know about what is the issue between this Taiwan and as well as China. Already we discussed number of times. And if you're following our channel, yes, we are covering each and every article in detail, especially from both prelims and as well as mains point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So if you're talking about this Taiwan Strait crisis, so here we know about the background. So what happened because of this US speaker, she visited this Taiwan. So that led to increasing of tensions between this Taiwan and as well as China. So what happened recently? Why it is in news again? So here Chinese drone was shot down by this Taiwan's military on September 1st. So what happened? So here Taiwan's military, they shut down or they shooted this Chinese drone on September 1st. And because of that, it mainly marked the new phase of already skimmering, increasing of tensions across this China and as well as Taiwan in this Taiwan Strait. Okay, so here because of this we can say, so this incident which is mainly highlighting increasing of tensions between this China and as well as Taiwan, and there is also like growing risk of escalations. So over recent weeks here, Chinese military was carrying out some military drills, and even it fired some drones, and even it fired missiles in this Taiwan Strait. Okay, and actually the last recently the last month what happened, US House Speaker, she visited this Taiwan, and because of this visit of US to this Taiwan, that led to increasing of escalations between Taiwan and as well as China. So if you see this map, you can understand exactly the location of this Taiwan, where it is located, and where is this Taiwan Strait is present, and where is this East China Sea is located. So if you see this map, here we have, this is our mainland China, and this is Taiwan, and here this is called as Taiwan Strait, and this is East China Sea, and below this we have the South China Sea. And here I hope you can see red color areas, red color boxes. So in these areas, especially the military drills of this China which happened, and even that entered into the internal waters of this Taiwan. Okay, so here you can see some important islands, that is Senkaku Island is present here, and here you can see Yonaguni Island. Okay, so you have to know about some islands which are present in this East China Sea and as well as South China Sea. So I want to give you one tip, especially in the South China Sea. So which are the islands which are present? So on that island, so there were some disputes happening. So let me know some islands in South China Sea and also some islands in this East China Sea. They were under conflict. Okay, so Chinese, they came up with a 9 dashed line, and it is mainly claiming that, so this area which comes under this Chinese territory. So here if you are talking about the South China Sea, so the countries are sharing boundary with the South China Sea. So with all these countries, Chinese, they are having disputes, boundary disputes. So now let us move forward, and if you are talking about especially some facts regarding this Taiwan Strait. Yes, you have to know about these facts, because these facts will be important from your other state public service examinations and even for your prelims point of view. So Taiwan Strait, it is like 180 kilometer strait, and this strait which is separating this mainland China with this Taiwan, and this strait which is part of South China Sea, and it will be connecting this East China Sea north. Okay, so this is a strait which is connecting East China Sea and as well as South China Sea. And actually it is a very narrowest part, it is like 130 kilometers wide. And the importance of this Taiwan Strait here is about 20% of this global trade which passes through this strait. So because of this, yes, this strait is very important for the global trade and to maintain proper supply chains. So if we're talking about what is the India's change in the stance. So India, which mainly follows one China policy, okay, since its recognition of this People Republic of China in 1949. So from 1949 onwards, India followed this one China policy, and it says that yes, trade and cultural relations, they are mainly shared with the Taiwan. China will be having the similarities regarding the cultural relations with the Taiwan. So actually recently India changed the stance because of Chinese intrusions into India's territory. For example, there is increasing of claims of China in this Arunachal Pradesh, and also recent standoff in this LAC region, and even Doklam issue of 2017. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let us try to see next topic, and this topic is also very important from our international relations point of view. And this topic is important from your GS paper too, and this article which is talking about India-Australia relations. And the first article, second article and third article we discussed. So this is about our international relations. And if you are talking about from international relations, you are not going to expect any static based questions. So most of the questions that you will get from the dynamic part, that is from your current affairs. So if you are getting any article regarding this India relation with any other country, like neighborhood, so we discussed about Bangladesh, that will come under India neighborhood relations. And if we're talking about India, Australia, so we have to know about India and its grouping, because Australia and India, they were part of number of groupings, correct? So here you can talk about G20, you can talk about Quad, etc. So now let us try to understand this topic. So this topic is important, and why this India-Australia relations is in news. So we are going to have 5th round of bilateral track 1.5 dialogue. So we are going to have 5th round of bilateral track 1.5 dialogue between India and Australia. So because of this is in news. And now let us try to understand this topic. So we need to know about some important areas of cooperation between India and Australia. So after once this dialogue is done, yes, we are going to get number of articles in our newspaper. So there we are going to discuss about this, how this dialogue which had gone and what are the key highlights of this dialogue. So So as of now, we are going to see some important areas of cooperation between India and Australia. So if you're talking about why it is in news, yes, we are going to have fifth round of bilateral track 1.5 dialogue between India and Australia. So if you're talking about some important areas of cooperation, yes, first we have to know about diplomatic ties. So the diplomatic ties between India and Australia, which had not started now, but they are mainly way back to 1941. So from 1941 onwards, yes, we have good diplomatic ties with Australia. So India established trade office in Sydney in 1941 itself. And after independence, after we got independence, that is in 1947, in 1950, the first Australian Prime Minister, he visited India. Okay. So who was the first Australian Prime Minister he visited India? That is Robert Menzies. And he had earlier supported India's admission to this Commonwealth as a republic. So India's entry to this Commonwealth also supported by this so-and-so person because of good diplomatic ties between India and Australia. And apart from that, so even in 2009, we came up with this strategic partnership agreement between India and Australia. Okay. And later on, what happened in 2013, Indian Defence Minister, he already had a visit. He visited Australia. So this is about the diplomatic ties. Yes, India is supporting Australia and also we are getting support from Australia. And if you're talking about people to people ties, so whenever you are writing relationship between India and another country, yes, you have to include this point, that is Indian diaspora or people to people ties. So there were many citizens in Australia with Indian origins. So even many of my friends are in Australia and they are doing work in Australia. Okay, I think many of your friends, they might be also living in this Australia, right? So there are many citizens in Australia with Indian origin, and out of that 24 million people of Australia, about 500,000, okay, about 500,000, they were Indians. And even in Australia, so one important fast growing language is Punjab. So Punjabi is one of the fast growing language in Australia. So apart from that, as of 2017 data, so there were more than 60,000 Indian students, they were studying in Australia. And more than 2 lakh Indians, they visited Australia every year. Okay, so this is about in detail people to people contact, which is growing day by day. And if you're talking about economic relations between India and Australia, so as of data, which is about 2016 data, so the bilateral trade between India and Australia, it is like $21.9 billion. And even if you are comparing with the 2003's data, so there is a rapid increasing of trade between India and Australia. So here you have to know about what are the major imports and as well as major exports between India and Australia. So if we're talking about major Australian imports to India, so what are the things that we are importing from Australia? We are importing coal, we are importing services, for example, education sectors. Because of that, they are providing education services for Indians, and more than 60,000 Indians, they were studying in Australia. And we are also importing gold, copper ores, as well as vegetables for consumption by consumers. So these were some important imports to India from Australia. And if you are talking about the major exports of India to Australia, they include, yes, refined petroleum products and services, outsourcing job services, and pearls, gems, jewelries, and medicaments. As you all know that India is a pharmacy of the world. Okay, we are doing very good, excelling in this pharmaceutical sector. So these are some important things that you have to remember regarding what you are importing and what we are exporting. So we're talking about even uranium we are importing from this Australia. As you all know, India is not member of this non-proliferation treaty, but we are getting uranium imports from this Australia. So in 2017, Australia shipped first supply of uranium to India, and we already signed a deal with Australia in year 2014 itself. Okay, so this is about this uranium import. And this one here is, if you're talking about India-Australia military relations, yes, we had a good military relations, and we are having joint navy exercise, that is AUS Index, which is carried out between India and Australia every year. Okay, and even Australia wants to find alternative markets to China, because China, which is mainly focusing on weaponizing of supply chains. So what is the meaning of this weaponizing of supply chains? For example, if you see this is China, if you see this box is China, and here we are having number of other countries. So these countries, they are getting raw materials from this China, for example. So whenever these raw materials, they are not supplying by this China means, so here the economy of these countries which are dependent on this raw material that is getting from this China, that will be hurted. So this mechanism is called as weaponization. Okay, weaponization of supply chains. So this is the one important thing that is coming up by China to have some impact or the negative impact on the countries, other countries. So because of this, here many countries, they want to diversify their supply chains. So in this context, Australia also want to find some alternative market to China, especially to diversify their supply chains. And as country with the reserves, lot of amount of reserves are there in Australia, right? And we have about 21 out of 49 minerals identified by India's critical mineral strategy. They are present in Australia, and Australia, which is also going to provide good services in the India's national interest required for the India's carbon reduction program. So whenever we are focusing on decreasing of this carbon emissions, already you know that our Prime Minister in this COP26, okay, in November 2021 in this Glasgow summit, he said that we are going to achieve this carbon neutrality by 2070. To achieve that, yes, we have to move towards this alternative renewable energy sources. In that area, yes, we are going to have a good cooperation between India and Australia. Okay, next one here is, so finally author says that India marks 75 years of independence and surpasses the United Kingdom, okay, and recently we studied that yes, India is the 5th largest economy in the world and it beats this UK, and even it is going to beat Germany in 2027. So this is the prospects, right? So the momentum around this 5th Australia-Indian leadership dialogue, so it need to get some important areas need to be concluded. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail, and I hope it is very much clear. And now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding Kerala's Lokayukta's controversy. So actually here we already discussed about this topic in detail, and now let us try to see this topic once again. Okay, and here we have to know about what is this Lokpal Lokayukta's Act. Okay, and you have to know about what are the amendments that came up by this Kerala government. So because of this, what are the issues that are going to see? So this topic is very important from your polity point of view, that is polity and governance point of view, and you have to know some brief background regarding this Lokpals and as well as Lokayuktas. So in the central level we have Lokpals, and the state level we have this Lokayuktas, and this topic is important from both your pre and mains. So now let us try to understand this topic. So actually there is some controversy which mainly is seen because of amendment to this Lokayukta's Act of Kerala. Okay, so actually here this amendments came up by this Kerala government through ordinance. So because of this, it mainly raised political temperatures in state of Kerala. So this is the context. So we're talking about some brief facts regarding this Lokayuktas and as well as Lokpals. Yes, you have to know these facts. That will be very important from your prelims point of view. So we're talking about this term, that is Lokpal Lokayuktas. They were first used in a report of ARC, that is Administrative Reforms Commission, and this ARC which was mainly headed by this Morarji Desai in year 1966. So where we came up with this term Lokpals and as well as Lokayuktas. So Lokpals and Lokayuktas, they were the first time used in the report of ARC. Okay, and this ARC, that is Administrative Reforms Commission, which was headed by this Morarji Desai in year 1966. And after that, the first bill of Lokpal, it was introduced in Lok Sabha. That too in 1968. In 1968, here the first bill of this Lokpal which was introduced in our Lok Sabha. But this bill at that time was lapsed because of dissolution of House. And later on, Anna Hazare, he came up with a movement. Okay, and he came up with active involvement of civil society as well. So because of this, finally that led to passing of this Lokpal and Lokayuktas bill in 2013. And this Lokpal Lokayuktas Act, which mainly says that yes, we need to come up with establishment of a body that is called as Lokpal at the central level and Lokayuktas at the state level. And what is the work or what is the responsibility of this Lokpal and Lokayuktas? So yes, they have to especially focus or they have to inquire on allegations regarding the corruption against certain public functionaries. So they are mainly going to deal with corruption, that is they are anti-corruption bodies. Okay, and later on, after once this act which mainly passed, so some states they had established this Lokayuktas. For example, Maharashtra, they came up in 1971 itself. Kerala came up in year 1999 itself. So now let us try to understand what is this Lokayuktas. So if we are talking about this Lokayuktas, they are the state equivalents of central Lokpals. So at the central level we have this Lokpals, but at the state level we have this Lokayuktas. And the states, they have to establish the Lokayuktas to deal with the complaints on corruptions. Especially they will be dealing with these issues of corruptions against public functionaries in the states. And here in some states, Lokayuktas, they were already functioning before this act which passed. For example, Maharashtra and as well as Kerala. Kerala came up with this Lokayuktas in year 1999 itself. Okay, so now let us try to see what is the controversy in Kerala. So Kerala government came up with amendment to this Lokayuktas Act here, and they came up with amendment to the section 14 of this act. So here this act which is making this Lokayukta, it is just a mere advisory body, but they do not have any power to accept or reject. Okay, so the government will be having the power to accept or reject the verdict of this Lokayuktas. That means they are now merely advisory bodies. They do not have the power. That means they do not have the teeth. And amendments are mainly opposed because of two important reasons. The first one is, so this amendment which is introduced to the ordinance. Okay, so if you're talking about ordinance making power of governor, especially in the states, it is about Article 213, okay, 213 of Indian Constitution talks about the ordinance making power of governors whenever the houses they were not in session. And if you're talking about the second important reason, it violates the fundamental rights of Central Lokpal and as well as Lokayuktas Act. And even it violates the fundamental spirit of this Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act. So because of this, so there is some controversy which is happening in this Kerala government. And today's mains question is, so please try to note the mains question. Do you know that when the 2013 Act was passed, that is Lokayuktas, they were already functioning in some states, Maharashtra and as well as Kerala. So including in Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. Okay, so actually here before this act which came up into picture in 2018, yes, they are mainly functioning in some states like Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and as well as Kerala. So here, comment about the functioning of this Lokayuktas in these states before this act which came into picture. So this is the main question. So you have to comment about how these institutions came up before even the coming up of this Lokayuktas Act of 2013. So how they were functioning and what are some important changes that we see in this functioning of these bodies which are mainly set up earlier of this act and after the formation of this act. Okay, so this is the main question. So try to address this question. And next topic. So this topic is very important and as well as interesting because nowadays, yes, this 5G is seen highly news and it is a buzzword that is seen even any person who is using this mobile phones. So if you're talking about the present, yes, we are using this 4G technology and only some mobiles that are of having high-end technology, they are having this 5G facility, but not all mobile phones. So here when we want to deploy this 5G, yes, we have some hurdles. So what are the infrastructure that is present now that may not support this 5G? So in this condition, so what is the way forward? So that is the thing which mainly given in this article. And this article is important from your science and technology which comes under your GS paper 3. So now let us try to understand this topic. So if you see context, it mainly says that since 4G inception in early 2010s, that is in early 2010s, so because of this 4G network that come into our life, so that led to the increasing of number of smartphone users because of fast internet. And according to a report which says that the number of smartphone users in the world has nearly doubled from 3.7 billion in 2016 to 6.6 billion. So from 3.7 billion to 6.6 billion. So there is rapid increasing of smartphone users, that is because of this 4G network. So this 4G network which mainly offers high speed internet and high speed browsing capacity, etc. And even we can download the movies, correct? So if you see some details, it mainly says that. So if you want to go for this 5G based connection in future, okay, already we had this 4G based infrastructure, okay. So here 5G based connected future is upon us, because here whatever the services that we already deployed, like whatever the infrastructure that we had, so that may not be compatible with this 4G infrastructure or 4G devices. So in this situation, especially for these telecom companies, they are having two choices. So first one is they can go for this NAC, that is non-standalone. They can go for this standalone architecture. So they can use this non-standalone or they can use this standalone architecture. So if you're talking about this non-standalone framework, yes, we are having this LTE 4G technology, and here we are just using this NRA, that is New Radio Access Network, and because of this 4G can be used as 5G. Okay, in this non-standalone framework. And if you're talking about standalone framework, yes, we need to come up with an entirely complete new architecture. Okay, and we can come up with entirely new core. Okay, we cannot use this 4G. Okay, so this is about the standalone model. So here in this box, especially to make you understand what is the difference between this NSA and as well as SA, so I came up with this basic important explanation also. So the difference between this non-standalone and standalone is very easy. That is, in this non-standalone, it is the first stage of this 5G network, and here we are using this new 5G radio access network. Okay, and we are using this 4G LTE network core here. So we are not going to come up with a new network core. So we are using just new access network or new radio access network. And here in this standalone 5G, so we are going to come up with this 5G access network, and it will be a brand new 5G network core. So we are going to come up with a 5G network core, and on this we can go for deploying of this 5G network. So this is about this topic, and you can get a question regarding your prelims from this topic, that is, what is the difference between this non-standalone and standalone 5G? So here if you know this box, then you can easily answer the question. And now let us try to say next topic. So this topic is about Sri Lanka. So most of the topics that we are discussing today, it is mainly based on international relations. So please don't try to mistake me. So what are the articles are there, and what are the articles which are important from UPSC point of view, I have to discuss. Correct? So there is no choice. And please don't ask me about this question, why ma'am, why you selected only this international relations? But I am not also the core faculty of international relations and the core faculty of ethics and as well as geography. So we are talking about this article which says that IMF help to this Sri Lanka. Yes, already you know that economic crisis of Sri Lanka because of this Easter bomb issues and because of this COVID-19. So because of 100% organic agriculture in this Sri Lanka, and even tourism had been fall, and because of the debt crisis here, because of Chinese investments in infrastructure projects of Sri Lanka. So because of all these reasons, now here economic crisis of Sri Lanka which is mainly seen. So to come out of that economic crisis, here Sri Lanka approached this IMF. So this is about some background. So now let us try to see why it is in news. So what is the context? So IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. If you are talking about IMF, it is one of the Bretton Woods twins. So Bretton Woods twins were, first one is World Bank and second one is IMF. So IMF, it is one of the Bretton Woods twins. So here IMF on September 1st, it announced that it is going to come up with a staff level agreement with Sri Lanka, and they are going to provide some amount of money such that will be helpful to especially to this Sri Lanka to come out of this economic crisis, and even it is facing severe balance of payment crisis. So if you have completed your economy, So there you might be coming across this topic called as balance of payment crisis. And this balance of payment issue is very important from your prelims as well as from your mains. So please be prepared with this balance of payment crisis. So it's a separate topic in your economic statics syllabus. Because of that, I am focusing on it. So if we're talking about some details, it mainly says that, so actually it is one of the formal agreement, okay. In this agreement, IMF staff and Sri Lankan authorities, they agreed to come up with $2.9 billion package. $2.9 billion package, and that will especially support the Sri Lanka's economic policies. Okay, so this agreement, it is between IMF and as well as Sri Lanka, and the IMF said that they are going to provide $2.9 billion package to support Sri Lanka's economic policies. So in return here, Sri Lanka need to come up with some immediate measures. So actually during this 1990 to 1991, so we also, that is India also faced this balance of payment crisis, and we did not have proper forex reserves. Even the what are the forex reserves that we had, that was not enough for getting the goods for next 1 week. So that time, yes, we approached this IMF to get some help, and IMF said that it is going to help, but it said there are some terms and conditions. So because of this, yes, we need to came up with some measures, that is LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and as well as globalization. Okay, in 1991. So the same way here, IMF also asked Sri Lanka to come up with some measures. So for example, to fix fiscal lapses and some structural weakness, and to raise fiscal revenue, and to safeguard financial stability and reduction of corruption. So these are some important measures that need to come up by the Sri Lankan government. Okay, so even apart from these domestic policies, here Sri Lanka need to also strengthen economy of Sri Lanka. Okay, and it need to come up with the restructuring of its debt as well. So we're talking about how this IMF package will help Sri Lanka. Yes, automatically whenever it is getting fund from this IMF, so that will be helpful for coming out of this economic crisis, and will also make Sri Lanka's credit worthy again, and it will also allows government to borrow once again from the private creditors and as well as multilateral lenders and bilateral partners. Okay, so in this way it will be helpful for the Sri Lanka. So this is about this topic in detail. And now let us try to see next topic. So this topic, it is about trust vote. So we are not going to see what is the political issue that is happening in this Jharkhand assembly. Just I took this article for discussion to explain about what is the meaning of this trust vote. So there is a high possibility of questions that can be appear in your prelims and as well as mains regarding this trust vote. So because of this, I took this article for discussion. And this topic is important from your GS paper to under polity point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So if we are talking about context, what happened because of political crisis that are facing by Jharkhand, and finally Chief Minister of Jharkhand, he will seek a trust vote in assembly. So what is a floor test? So floor test, it is a constitutional mechanism. So in this floor test, so they will see whether the government which is enjoying the confidence or enjoying the support or not. So this is the floor test. And if you are talking about trust vote, it is nothing but a confidence motion or a vote of confidence or trust vote. So actually it mainly sought by government in power on the floor of the house. Here it is assembly. So it enables the elected representatives to determine if the council of ministers, they commanded the confidence of the house or not. So they are getting confidence or not. So they are getting majority of votes or not. So here the idea underlying this trust vote, it is to uphold the political accountability of the elected government to the state legislature. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see the today's mains question. Ambiguity in law on conducting floor test often lead to abuses and misuse. Comment. So in this way you can expect questions in your polity. So try to answer this question, and the word limit here is 200 words. And now let us try to see today's prelims practice questions. So today's questions are based on your geography. So the first question here is the difference between this forced and as well as missed. So this concept that is clearly written in your NCERT, and here many students, they will be confused with what is the difference between the frost and as well as mist. So the first statement here is frost forms on cold surfaces, yes, when condensation takes place below the freezing point. So what happened is frost, which is mainly seen whenever the droplets, that is whenever the vapor which comes and whenever it is touching the very cold surfaces, and that will lead to the process called as condensation. And this condensation process which mainly takes below the freezing point. So this statement is absolutely correct. And this one here is difference between the mist and the fog is fog contains more moisture, but fog it is drier compared to the mist, and this mist will be the most moist. Okay, it is moisture than compared to the of this fog. So this second statement is incorrect. And this one here is mist. They are frequently occur over mountains and the rising warm air up the slopes meet the cold surface. Yes, this statement is also correct. So correct option will be B, 1 and 3. And next question here, it is regarding Damodar River. So consider the following statements regarding Damodar River. So first statement here is Damodar occupies eastern margins of this Chota Nagpur plateau. Yes. And it flows to Rift Valley. Yes. Barakar and Sharda, they are the main tributaries. Actually, this Barakar, it is the main tributary of this river Damodar, but this Sharda, it is also called as Kali river, which is mainly flows along this India and Nepal border. So it is not at all the tributary of this Damodar river. So here third statement is incorrect. So that option is A, 1 and 2 only. So let us have a look over this map of Damodar river. So this is our river Damodar. So here we have some tributaries like Konar, here we have Barakar, and here we have Dwarakeshwar, Shilabati, okay, and as well as Kaligand. So these were some important tributaries of this Damodar basin or Damodar river. So this forms your entire Damodar basin. So this is about this question. And now let me make a small announcement. So here we came up with this daily answer writing program, and this program it is going to be started today. Okay, so here if you are talking about how this program goes, so first we will be giving you the 52-week schedule, and we are going to give you the micro listing of topics. So which are the topics that you have to read in that so-and-so syllabus, and you will be preparing for that syllabus, and daily one question will be given in our website, and that will be uploaded by 10 a.m. and you will be reading that question, you will be writing answer for that question, you will be starting your stopwatch and you will be writing answer. And after writing answer, you will be sending that PDF to our mail ID. So after that, there will be evaluation of your answer, and we will be giving you detailed feedback. And the corrected copy will be sent your mail again. And you will be checking the feedback, and finally you will be improving. Okay, day by day. So it will be taking like 2 to 3 months of time to improve in this answer writing. So especially we are also coming up with live webinars. On every Sunday, we are going to discuss questions and we are going to address your doubts in that live session. And we are also going to provide one-to-one mentorship for you students. So this program will cover entire your UPSC syllabus, that is GS1, GS2, GS3 and as well as GS4. Only the GS syllabus will be covered here. Okay, so this will be the correction format of your answer. Okay, so you try to enroll to this course, and this course is going to be started today. So till September 10th, the admissions will be going on. Okay, admissions will be opened, and by 10th September you have to enroll into this course. And one more thing I can say here is, so this course is very useful, and especially students who already enrolled into this course. So let me know your experiences in the comment box. Actually yesterday Raven, he already texted in the comment box regarding so how he benefited from this mains answer writing course. So try to join this course, it will be absolutely beneficial. And if you want to join this course, you can visit our website rathodsisacademy.com, and there you can click on the course list. You can see this poster there, and you can click on buy now and you can go for payment. Okay, so if you have any doubts regarding this course, call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, so now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF as usual. So this is our today's Hindu. So first article, it is regarding trust vote. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward in this page number 2, here you can see one interesting topic, that is regarding crimes by foreigners in city increased by 90% in 2021. So here what happened among these union territories and as well as in these areas, especially there is increasing of crimes committed by foreigners in this national capital. Okay, and they have been increased by 91.6% in this 2021. So this is according to the data which released by NCRB. And this page number 3, there is nothing much important, but here you can see canine squad deployed at Tihar to prevent drug smuggling. So actually you know that here yesterday our Prime Minister and our Home Minister, he said that yes, we have to take some measures to curb this smuggling. Okay, so because of this, so it is one of the important steps which is mainly taken. So you can add this article as a case study. And if you move forward, here you can see Nehru Trophy hat trick for club. So here you have to know about this boat race, Vallam Kalli. So in which lake we can see this Nehru Trophy will be going on. Okay, so let me know about this Nehru Trophy. And if you move over here, you can see culling of wild boars begins in Kerala. So actually this wild boars, they are the one of the important cause of concern for the agriculture. Okay, actually what happened, 3 shooters representing the Hyderabad wildlife tranquil force, they have been deployed in this in this Kerala, especially to cull the wild boars. Okay, so here because they are mainly destroying the standing crops and as well as crops in this Kerala region, and that will lead to the loss to these farmers. And this one here, it is regarding a golden memory of this Raja Mahendravaram. So here you have to know some facts regarding this Eastern Chalukyas dynasty. So because of this, I highlighted this article. And if you move forward in this editorial page, I discussed about this article. Okay, regarding India-Australia relations, I discussed about this Taiwan Strait crisis. So I already discussed about this article in our earlier lecture regarding this LGBTQ plus rights. So you have to revise that topic once. And if you go through this op-ed page, I discussed about this India-Bangladesh ties article. And here this article is talking about India-Pakistan trade equations. So recently here, because of dilution of this article 317 in Jammu and Kashmir, so that led to the stalling of trade between India and Pakistan. And recently what happened, because of the floods in Pakistan, so they are mainly going to have some trade and they are going to import especially cotton, sugar and as sugarcane, and as well as some raw materials and even some food items from India. So because of this is a news, and you can go to that once. And this text and context, I discussed about this article regarding this deploying 5G, and I discussed about this IMF article, and I discussed about this Kerala's Lokayukta's controversy. And if you move forward, so here we are going to have a meet between India and Bangladesh. It is they are also going to talk about this water sharing issue. Okay, and if you move forward in this page number 13, there is nothing much important. And here in this page number 14, you can see captive Assam elephant abused in Tamil Nadu, says this PETA. So here you have to know about some facts regarding this PETA. Okay, so don't forget about that. Okay, that is nothing but people for ethical treatment of animals. PETA means people for ethical treatment for animals. And this one here is scientists remain skeptical about how this nano urea benefits the crops. So already in our yesterday's lecture, I discussed about this nano urea. And there is one article regarding this ISRO test system to recover spent rocket stages. So this article is very important from your science and technology. So these are some important articles that appear in our Hindu newspaper. So if you have not yet subscribed to this Rathod's IAS Academy channel, subscribe to this Rathod's IAS Academy and hit the bell icon so that you will be getting regular notifications. And by this, I'm concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.